Well, hey there, welcome back to Live It Out. I'm Aaron, and I'm dressed for the impending weather event that we're supposed to have today in the greater Puget Sound area. Here's the one thing about people talking about what's going to happen without really knowing for sure what is going to happen. It's called a forecast or a projection, and we do that a lot in our lives. We looked this week at the fact that there are a number of things that happen in our life that we either expect or don't expect that get us into a spot of a dry spell with God. We feel like He's distant or even abandoned us or even deserted. And this has happened for centuries, ever since there's people felt distant from God or like He's not even really there. And it's been called wilderness or the desert. And in the Bible, when we looked and been reading through the Bible, if you're not reading through the Bible, join us. Love to have you do that. But in the Bible, we're looking at the exodus of God's chosen people from slavery to the promised land. And it took them 40 years to get there. And it was a very short trip, really, relatively speaking. The reason why is because they had a lot to learn, just like us. And God teaches us in various ways. But lots of times, He teaches us through this wilderness or this desert experience. So I wanted to encourage you 3 things from the message and just remind you to apply it in your life. If you find yourself in the wilderness, this impending weather event of your life feeling like it's falling apart or you just feel distant from God and just like, what's going on? Number 1, stop whining. Stop whining. It's not going to do you any good. This is one I'm still trying to work on myself. I don't have this down, but I would encourage you, stop whining. Number 2, get help. If you ignore number 1 and you're going to whine, then whine to God. Get help. Go to Him. Ask for His help and do what He says. Go to what's already been written and do what God says. And if you need to get help from godly people. People are going to point you to Jesus. Alright, and finally, and this one is kind of a no-duh, but if you find yourself in this dry spell, this time of distance from God, then grow strong. Get stronger. That's what it's intended for. Do you know that the Israelites didn't really have to do any work for their food? God gave them food. It was manna. And they didn't like it. They were complaining about it. They didn't have to get new shoes. They didn't have to get new clothes. God let all of that be provided for them so they could just spend time with Him. And they had a hard time with that. So if you find yourself in a dry spell, maybe it's for you to get closer to God, even if you feel like He's distant. I know that seems weird, but God works like that. He loves you, so love Him back. Love others and serve generously. And if it snows where you live, hopefully you get home safely. Play with your kids, because they're going to love it. God bless you. Peace.